Nonfiction, yay! Now you might be thinking, okay, my kid hates books, but you know what? Maybe they just don't like fiction books. Maybe they need to find some nonfiction books. Maybe your boy would like to read some poisonous animals books, or deadly snakes, or maybe special forces, military, or maybe there's nonfiction, painters books, things that your kids would just really enjoy. So let's go ahead and highlight some of these. I'm going to show you one that I personally am quite excited about. How do flowers grow? Lift the flap, questions and answers. What's growing under here? Oh, hairy roots are growing under there. Cool. Let's lift this and see what's happening. Ooh, there's a little flower bud forming up there, and they have a little arrow pointing to that. And the bee is coming over, and guess what? This shows how the plant gets its own food from the sun. So a lot of fun. This book is just so pretty, very well done, and it just, how do flowers grow? Lots of little flaps. We also have something that's kind of neat here. We have little flashcards, 100 things to spot in the night sky. We have, for example, it'll have a little flashcard here with the moon, and different parts of the moon and what's located there and things like that. And then a little graph on the back, little pictures on the back with a waning moon and crescent moon and descriptions. And so sometimes kids just really like to have some flashcards like that, learn some details. Famous paintings, another flashcard set. So here's a beautiful picture, and of course on the back it describes the picture, Mona Lisa. Who painted it, when, where, what is it made of, and that sort of thing. And just kind of an interesting note, did you know that back then they did not paint any eyebrows on her because it wasn't fashionable to have eyebrows back then? So anyway, just fun, interesting things. There's also, in our nonfiction, I just think this is beautiful, the Usborne Illustrated Children's Bible, and it's cloth bound, and it just has a wonderful selection of Bible stories from both the Old and the New Testament. Probably, I'd say maybe 30 or so stories from each testament. And if you go on through here, I just think they did such a nice job with this. In the beginning, before there was any time, God created the heavens and the earth. And it just goes on to say, basically the first day, God made light, and the second day, God made land and plants, and the third day, God made, and so on and so forth. And I'm not getting it quite right, but they're just very accurate to that, and wonderful pictures. Notice it's not like just a ton of text where it gets boring. There's different colors to kind of activate the kids' minds, and as they are reading these stories, as you read to them, and it just doesn't get boring. It's just beautifully done. It's cloth bound. I think that's just beautiful. So say you have somebody that just really likes to learn about special forces. Well, this is a fun book for them. The contents include who are special forces, behind enemy lines, Arctic action, fighting, special forces long ago, trackers and hunters, and so on. And then it just goes through. It just has some fun descriptions and pages and illustrations and showing what they do there. Over here, I'll just highlight really quickly, we have something, part of our beginners activity pack. Actually, I think it's beginners exploration, but there's I think it's quite a few books that come in this pack. I think it's 8 of them. Yep. And there's pirates, there's planes, there's castles, there's volcanoes, living in space. And these are just kind of a fun way to get kids engaged with some of these topics. Notice the text is kind of broken up into chunks, and there's lots of wonderful pictures and illustrations in these ones. And of course they have these little things here with a red ribbon attached to them for helping to do times tables and math. And over here, this book I have to highlight. This is called See Inside, Exploration and Discovery, with over 70 flaps to lift. I just think this is a wonderful thing. One of my favorite pages is over here, and it talks about Scottish explorer and missionary David Livingstone. and he went missing and they couldn't find him, and somebody went to go try to find him, and whoa, they found him finally. So under the flap, you lift that. It just gives more information about explorers and that sort of thing. And of course, over here, Robert Falcon Scott and his diary. They actually have a little flap for his diary, and it talks about that, so that's a lot of fun. Okay, so Trevor, go ahead and scroll through. Let's go ahead and scroll to this one next, the Usborne Geography Encyclopedia. So if you take a look at that, it also contains a complete world atlas. It's internet linked, and this one, for example, I'll flip to a page that I found to be kind of interesting. There's all kinds of interesting pages, but in the mountains of the Andes Mountains in South America, for example, it will have some descriptions about the peoples that live there, different cultures, different places, farming methods. Just a lot of fun with that. Very good. We have write your own adventure stories. When I first saw this, I thought, just give me a notebook and let me do some writing. I got a big imagination. But you know, a lot of people, including myself sometimes, we get stumped and we don't know what to write about. This is wonderful for just helping young readers to get active with writing. Has great questions, how to get into the action of a story, planning a story, ideas for great characters often have distinctive traits. This makes them more memorable and easier for the reader to picture. Maybe your character has masses of curly hair, or a limp, or a wooden leg. So it really gives kids an idea of what to write about. In this book right here, Questions and Answers About Your Body, Lift the Flap book. This is kind of fascinating. You know, when will I have all my big teeth? Well, lift the flap and find out. Not until you're about 20. Your baby teeth start getting loose and falling out around the age of 5 or 6. You'll probably have 28 big teeth by the age of 13. There's all kinds of flaps in here. I found it interesting even just to read through it myself, but how do broken bones mend and that sort of thing. You can lift the flap and it tells you how broken bones mend. So just a lot of fun. Okay, and we're almost done with our nonfiction, but let me just highlight. I won't go into this one, but hey, for us potty training moms out there, this can be a very helpful book. We also have Teach Your Child to Swim, and I just really think the illustrations are great in here. Getting afloat, tips for helping your kids be able to swim, how to teach your babies to swim, and that sort of thing. So that's Teach Your Child to Swim, how to teach your children to swim. I don't know if it talks about babies exactly with swimming. But those are just some of our nonfiction books, and I just am so excited to share them with you. Very likely, if you comment and get back to me on an interest that your child has, I could find several books that would just be wonderful for your particular child's or reader's interest. So that's our nonfiction.